Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together one more time for Angela Irons as she comes up.
I'd like to first thank the American Heart Association for giving me this opportunity to be here tonight, and for all of you for supporting this great, great cause. 2 years ago, I heard you're having a girl. A girl after having twin boys. I was ecstatic. Having such a close relationship with my own mother, I was thrilled to share that with my little baby girl someday. I had visions of shopping, sharing a love of shoes, lunches, prom, college, a sorority legacy, a wedding. The sky was my limit for my baby, whom we immediately named Myka, but I was calling her my little miss, and you can hear her right now. Myka came into our lives on September 24th, 2009 at 9:47 p.m. She was a little tiny bundle of beauty. After a few hard days, a pediatrician heard a slight heart murmur. Laying in a hospital bed, recovering from a C-section, excited to take my baby girl home, I was told that an echocardiogram confirmed that Myka had a congenital heart defect. I don't think that I had ever heard that term before that moment. And I actually had no idea the impact it was going to have on our lives, or how, at times, it would absolutely consume us. As a mother, I went to the absolute worst-case scenario after I met with cardiologists. I heard heart defect and assumed in my darkest place that I was on borrowed time with my little baby. Thus, I tried to distance myself from this gorgeous, sweet little girl. I convinced myself that if I wasn't head over heels in love with her, it wouldn't hurt as much when we lost her. But it didn't work out that way. I fell head over heels in love with our newest little baby. I still couldn't bring myself to buy her any new clothes or shoes, all that fun stuff that I looked forward to when I heard you're having a little baby girl, because I just didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want to have a closet full of beautiful little clothes and no baby girl. I spent the next 11 months in constant fear, worrying every single night when I put her down into bed if she'd make it through the night. Not knowing what her little heart was doing, not knowing if it at some point would become a traitor and give up and take my baby with it. I remember one morning calling my husband and telling him Myka was still sleeping, and it was much later than normal. And he asked, well, did you check on her? And I felt horrible admitting it, but I didn't. I was too scared of what I was going to find when I walked into her room. There were many times I flicked her foot just to see her move and know that she was still breathing and still alive. I handed my baby over to a team of OR nurses and doctors, and at that moment I felt like someone cut something off of me. Standing there as they wheeled her back behind what I coined as those doors, leading back to the sterile, cold room where they would cut open her chest, stop her heart, and hopefully repair it. Praying that that same little heart would start back up again. Hoping that those same nurses and same doctors would look at my baby and see how absolutely vital she was to me, to my family, and to our world. Knowing a day in the office for them was a parent's worst nightmare. We wanted her to be anything but just another case, and just another baby, and just another defective heart. She was our baby and our life, our hopes and our dreams. I kept obsessing over the fact that they were going to stop her heart. What if it didn't start back up again? What would they do? And how would I go on living without this little person who was only in my life for 3.5 short little months? Those were some really very dark days, sitting in her room and listening to those chest tubes, waiting for her to open her eyes, and wondering if she was in a lot of pain or how scared she was, and not able to leave her side. I felt pains of guilt for the 2 little boys at home who needed their mom, and willing the littlest in the hospital to smile and acknowledge me, and honestly, to forgive me for not saving her from the pain and the strangers, the pokes, the blood, the tubes, the machines. Myka turned 11 months old the day after her second surgery. At that point, I finally had hope that we would reach her first birthday. It only took me 11 months, 2 surgeries, a day of post-op recovery to know my little girl would be eating birthday cake someday. Her first birthday was so very emotional for me. I never took for granted that we would see that day. I wanted to shout it for everyone to hear that my baby was one. She made it to one. My hope for her was that her second year of life was as close to normal as possible. She deserved to be a toddler first and a heart baby second. Every day I dress Myka and I see that scar. The incision, 3 chest tubes, and a central line. On her tiny little body, she has battle wounds that will live on her skin for the remainder of her life. But to me, those scars are her badge of courage. Her survival was contingent on those scars. And I'm hoping that she'll wear them with pride, knowing that she fought a good fight. Something that I wish for every heart baby and every heart family is to win the fight. And with advances in research and technology, my hope is no parent lives in fear of losing their child after they hear that your baby has a congenital heart defect. Or better yet, I would love it if no parent ever hears that, ever again. I look at my little miss, and sometimes I cannot help but think of everything that she has been through. She's had 2 open heart surgeries before her first birthday. She's had 2 blood transfusions, extended hospital stays, blood draws, IVs, ultrasounds, echocardiograms, x-rays. She has shown me what it means to be strong, what it means to fight to stay alive. There is a song that I felt has always been my anthem as a mother. And there is a line from that song that says, "Be courageous and be brave." I told Myka this before her first surgery. By the time I handed her over to her team of OR nurses for her second surgery, she showed me the real meaning of be courageous and be brave. I'd like to introduce you to one of the bravest people I've ever known, who inspires me on a daily basis. My little heart hero, my little Miss Myka. Congenital heart defect. I hadn't even heard that term, but since I have learned that congenital heart defects are the leading birth defects in infants, and while that is a statistic to some, it's a reality to my family. Had Myka been born just a decade before, some of the surgical techniques used to save her life would not have been available. Research funded by the American Heart Association helped to ensure that those surgical techniques were available for my little baby. And funds given by people like you make this research possible. Today, as you can see, Myka is a healthy little baby girl, and I am so very grateful for this. But she isn't cured. She will need a 3rd surgery before she's an adult. And to ensure that proper technologies are out there, our hope as a family is that in the next 5 to 10 years, further research will be done and advancements made so that her next surgery will be her final one, and that she will not have to endure the pain of open heart surgery again and again and again. There are no words to describe how grateful we are for the American Heart Association and the amazing generosity of people like you all who came here tonight. But more research does need to be done to develop to ensure that Myka and other kids with congenital heart defects will survive and can live a very quality way of life. And tonight, you all can make a difference in the life of my child and those of so many others. I invite everyone in this room to raise their paddle high and support valuable research. Your support could lead to the next scientific breakthrough or possibly even the cure. Thank you so very much.